we are back for the last segment of the Lance Roberts Show, the Friday financial edition of our show. And we talked about so much stuff today. My head's sort of really, boy, we just covered a widespread.
And miles to go before we sleep.
What's sleep? Exactly.
It's a luxury, let me tell you.
It sure is. Well, you might be able to think you're going to sleep when you retire. It's a nice thought. But there is something we talk about in our right lane class called the black hole. And it's what we call that first year of retirement. See, there's this level of anxiety for new retirees, even though as professionals and we run plans, we feel accomplished. So years ago, I looked at this as a crossover risk. Okay, clients who told me they were going to retire were back at work like a year later. Eventually, what I call this crossover risk, and what I mean by that is going from accumulating money into distributing, where you're going to live off your savings, right? That goes away. But this first year is stressful. This black hole is a place we don't want to go because it goes deep into vulnerability, the misgivings, the guilt. Yeah, there's guilt of a first-year retiree's experience, right? And in a way, like as planners, we're uncomfortable to secure ropes around our waist. We jump into the holes. We want to pull these clients out and make sure that we work with numbers, not feelings. But you can't, because there's more to the retirement. We find people that even when they have the money to complete a wonderful retirement, they're uneasy because that first year is scary. So here's a few things that you got to remember. If you're in the dark as a retiree or even a financial professional who is unaware of this dissonance in clients, and it's there, okay, what can you do? Well, the first thing is listen, okay? You got to provide assurance. Like, Brent's going to retire. We're like, okay, we know you're uneasy, but we're going to have to help you understand. You're going to go through the black hole. There's going to be a lot on that side. You're going to have to realize a lot of things, Brent, like I'm going to die. Or what's my worth now that I'm not working this radio board anymore? I mean,
it's uncharted waters. It's
is.
Like it's the same as when you get a new job, right?
Oh, that feeling of displacement.
You don't know where you belong. You don't know what your groove is.
At least money's coming in, but you're absolutely right.
You don't know if it's going to work.
Feeling in that gut.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And some experience guilt when they retire because they feel like, hey, I'm no longer a productive member of society. I have no more deadlines. I'm not putting out fires.
Well, part of this, I think you have to, and we've talked about this before, you have to look at retirement not as a cessation of your life's work as much as it's an opportunity now for you to do the stuff you really wanted to do all along, but you had to work. Now you don't have to work, so now you can do the stuff you want to do.
Well, that's the end of the show, folks, because Rhoda talked. That's the retirement. Yes, absolutely, right? One client told me once, I said, because he was always putting out fires, he goes, I still need the fires.
Yeah.
Well, use your passion now.
Don't become an arsonist.
No, not that. Don't do that. But absolutely. Okay, so you want to make sure that, at least when we work with clients the first year, even though their plans are good, we might want to go through them again. The highlights of the plan. In other words, us maybe telling you you're going to be fine, all the numbers work, there's confidence and comfort that, hey, you don't have to worry about that side of it, okay? Let's worry about more the qualitative side, where you're going to reignite that fire now that you're not back at work. So providing reassurance is really important. And you got to ask questions, okay? We have to ask questions. How would you apply your work skills to a new venture? What motivates you now to wake up in the morning? What adventures have you always wanted to pursue? The more you ask yourselves these questions or your financial partner asks these questions, the more the communication dynamics get better. So keep that in mind. What I see this black hole get blacker or darker is when people are forced into a retirement situation. They receive a package, they're let go, they haven't had a chance to transition, okay? For those people, they might want to be careful to maybe go back to work part-time and transition to retirement. The other thing is you got to be sensitive to this crossover risk. I think like in our industry in finances, it's all about the numbers. So I can't relate to this. Okay, if you've got the money to retire, what's your problem? There's more to it than that, right? Be sensitive. You're going to have your spouse or your partner who is close to you that's going to vocalize these observations to you, and you might even pick up on a little frustration. But listen to it. Because they're trying to tell you something. They're trying to say, listen, I want you to get your life on board. You don't have to follow me to the mall every day or wherever we go. I have one client. His wife calls me and goes, I'm going to kill him. You know what you said, how long the retirement plan is going to last? You just have to make that last. It doesn't have to last this long because he's going to die. And I'm like, he's following me everywhere I go. Because this is somebody who has not transitioned well, and we talk about it.
Dude needs a job.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about part-time. It's not about the money. Mm-hmm. It's just going out there active. And just spend 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and he's looking at places you would never think he would go work. Walmart.
What's the statistic for
Target?
For lifespan after retirement for guys that don't do anything?
If they retire at 62, right? The death rate, especially for men, is dramatic.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like this whole taking Social Security at 62. Mm-hmm, now, listen, some people
have to.
It's a physical health is declining. I get it. But to retire early is many times going to curtail your life expectancy, especially if you don't fill the gap with other things that are worthwhile.
Unless that retirement plan has a plan for what you're going to do with that time and your talents and what your abilities. You can't waste that opportunity.
Well, the Mrs. His client's wife
Otherwise, your wife's going to kill you.
She goes, listen, I knew he was going to go through the black hole. I didn't know I was going to be dragged into that hole with him.
It's a vortex.
They're all in this pre-retirement vortex, right? Yeah. So, but a partner can be a motivator, right? And provide valuable insight to an advisor like what I got so that I could pick up the ball and speak to that person and say, listen, what the heck's going on? You want to go to lunch and talk about this? So, and recently I asked a working spouse for ideas on how I can help her husband work through unease. So, she was happy to flood me with suggestions as long as it wasn't following her around. So, you got to get social. And that's one of the things we talk about in the right lane. You've got to be social in your approach. Make sure you're getting out there. I have some clients that created a breakfast club, like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. They meet some of the people that have worked at the company before. They have a ball. They invited me once, and we talked about stocks. I said, really? I'm going to breakfast and have to talk about the stock market? Let's talk about something fun.
I got a buddy who's a retired firefighter up in Tulsa, and their group is called the Romeos, Retired Old Men Eating Out. and they get together once a week, and they have a ball.
I love that. That's
Romeos.
I bet the wives were like, what's that? Mm-hmm. What's going on there?
Hey, it gets you out of the house.
But it gets, but this is, not only got to think socially, you have to think creative, right? Because we lose our sense of camaraderie, right? We lose our sense of identity sometimes when we're not working. And to recreate that sense of identity could be the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. But the first year, regardless, that black hole or trying to figure out where the heck you fit in is not something that needs to be discounted. It needs to be explored and made sure that, listen, it's not about the money. Coming up with those things that will help you to get out of the hole are going to be very important. So sometimes it's homework, Brent. Like, I'm sure to come up with the Romeo took a little bit of work. I know it's cliched, but a bucket list really is not a bad idea. Okay. So one client told me that a bucket literally was on his bucket list. He did. You know why? He was going to turn these buckets into art. He was going to paint them. And I'm like, you have a bucket? You're trying to kid me, right? Because you have a bucket on your bucket list? Come on.
Like painted tractor seats?
Yeah, well, whatever. It was like he was going to create little figures. Like he said to me that, I don't know where it was, but he said he used to pass some of these auto workshops and the muffler shops, and they had like these men made out of metal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he thought it was sort of cool.
Like the drill pipe sculptor down on 288 south of town. Have you
I
seen
never
that?
seen that. No.
Oh yeah, they've got all kinds of stuff made out of old drill pipe.
Oh yeah. So this is, I guess, his way
Very
of
artsy.
Yeah. So, because I was like, really, a bucket's on your bucket list. I don't know what to do this. So treat work associates to lunch. Gather regularly. You just said it, with former colleagues, right? Associate with company retirees. That sense of community is who we are. What I find that older retirees, there are ones that I work with, and I'm working with a lot of clients for over 20 years, but there are some in their 80s that I've been working with for 20 years. Their mental attitude is younger than it was when I met them. Because they remain active. They're out there. They're working in the church. They're working with animals. They're doing a lot. They're still not closing down. And then I work with a lot of others who I notice their world has gotten much, much smaller. I hear comments like, I haven't left the house in like 4 days. That's not good. Okay? That's not healthy. And sometimes it does mean, right, Brent? You might have to go back to work. It has nothing to do with the money. The other contention I have, though, is sometimes I see people who go back to work and the job that they've taken on is just as unhealthy as the job they left. And I'm not a big fan of that, because I don't think that that's what you should do. But who am I to say? I want a job that I want to use my skills, but listen, I'm not going back to the grind. I want something that's going to fulfill me, take up a few hours of my day. I'm not looking to work 14 hours a day anymore. It's not in my retirement plan to do so. Well, hey, this has been great. We're glad you've been here. Brent, thank you for all your insights being the Rhoda.
Happy to be here.
The retirement Yoda. That's my new term for you, Rhoda. Remember that show, Rhoda?
Yeah.
That was a great show. Well, hey, you've been listening to the Lance Roberts Show, the Friday edition, while I ramble on. We'll be back on Monday, and you're listening to 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Monday, always Sunday, in a rich man's world. All the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's world.
Want a longer talk with Lance about your money? Request a personal one-on-one at realinvestmentadvice.com.